Appreciate you guys early this morning. Get you guys reset it a little bit. Yeah, I hope your morning is going great. We're gonna wait a few minutes and let people get in here before we go get too deep into a topic or a subject. It feels like it's going to be a good day in my part of the country, which of course we're very happy about. Because I know it's still January, but that doesn't mean that we're not sick of the cold weather. But let me thank you for you guys being here. Gonna catch us on the replay. Make sure you do the old thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know what's going on in your part of the world. If you have questions and or comments, I'm happy to do my best to help with those. Huh, that's funny. Funny things happen. I like it. So, Fridays is always good. I hope it's Friday. It better be Friday. I'm thinking it's Friday. So, is it Friday? Well, for me anyway, I think it's Friday. I think it's a little bit after 8 o'clock. It's, oh wow, the 31st of January. Holy crap, I didn't realize that. It seems strange how fast January has flown by. My God Almighty, it has flown by. Filipino Bai in the province says good night. She's off to bed in the Philippines because it's bedtime in the Philippines. It's morning time in the USA, but it's bedtime in the Philippines. Bye, we hope you're doing well. We appreciate you stopping in, giving us a thumbs up and saying hi. So we're gonna do an early morning video today, or live stream today, where we always kind of trying to get a thing where we get caught up on the Philippines on Friday mornings. We talk about some news and community news and what's happening in the Philippines a little bit, but also what's happening in America from a Filipino standpoint or a Philippine standpoint. So, yes, we are supposed to be in the 60s all next week. Presty, morning to you. Good morning to you. How are you? What are you up to this morning? How are things in your part of the world? Thank you for being here. So, Thank you for the thumbs up, everybody who's out there doing that. We greatly appreciate that. It looks like it's going to be a nice day today. Probably going to be in the low 60s, I hope. And I think next week where we're at, here's something, we're supposed to be in the 60s all next week. So I'm hoping to get some things done outdoors next week in my part of the country. Just getting up. Me too. I just woke up and trying to get back in the habit of getting up on Friday mornings and doing lives. You know, when the weather's cold, I sleep in, believe it or not. But I'm trying to do better at that in preparation for the spring and summer. And we like to talk about, you know, just different things. The Philippines, but thank you for subscribing to the channel. Have you done it? We are in Arkansas. Is where we're at. So the center part of the country. We are not very far from Dallas, Kansas City, if you know Arkansas. So, what part of the country are you from? It looks like we got to start working on our taxes. I don't know about you guys. Have you guys started working on your taxes yet? Have you started collecting your data? What I do is I collect all of my data, and I know a lot of people want to get it done as soon as possible. But over the years, I've kind of learned not to do that. I've kind of learned to slow it down. Wait until I get all the documents, you know, financial stuff, investment stuff, W-2 for my wife, everything. And then I do that. You're down in Arizona? Arizona's a beautiful state. Yeah, we live in the northern part, the good part of Arkansas. We, it's a little too chilly, cold for us here, so we're hoping to relocate maybe to southern Alabama. But Arizona's a beautiful state, man. Beautiful state. New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, man, that's a beautiful country. So that's something that I've learned over the years is slow my taxes down. Don't get in a hurry. You know, I know everybody wants their, and maybe there's a difference because I guess for people that are getting a tax refund, you want to get your money as soon as possible, right? But if you're not getting a tax refund, or it's like $1, you know, who cares? But maybe we'll get lucky this year and get $1. I don't know. It'd be nice if we got more than $1. It'd be nice if the new administration will abolish the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, and go to that external revenue system, right? I think we all would appreciate that, because you know, a lot of people don't realize, especially my age and younger, that you know, at one point in time we didn't pay internal taxes. So, and things were okay then. So why do we got to pay them now? So that's kind of part of a lot of people's now that I understand that, I'm like, hey, so much government waste and overspending that you're just robbing Peter to pay Paul, and Paul doesn't need to be paid by Peter, so to speak. So that's what we got to do. The Filipino communities, there's a lot of those out here on the internet in America that will help Filipinos with their taxes. Now, it's not going to be free, but there are a lot of services out there for different nationality groups, and I like that. So that's something I'm looking at today, this morning. It looks like we're going to have possibility of tornadoes through Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia and Florida over the next couple of days. The Dixie Alley, or the Gulf Coast of America, they're saying, is going to do that. So I guess we got more storms coming, but it doesn't look like cold weather. I'm checking my mail, my news, my alerts. We had a friend the other day give birth to a baby, and they're doing well, so that's good. Congratulations to them if they're listening. Appreciate that. That's cool. Mactan International in the Philippines got an alert or talk about that. City government of Bogo City in the Philippines is where we have land at in the Philippines. So, see if I can understand what they're talking about. They have a announcement from Bogo, renewal of motorcycle or tricycle operations permit. So this is if you're going to be renewing your business license in the Philippines to run a scooter or a transportation business for tricycles, motorized tricycles, and then you need to get your permit up to date. I'm trying to see if it says how much it is. They require to be renewed on February the 1st, but you do have a grace period of 20 days with a 30% penalty. So that's kind of interesting. All right, February the 1st you pay it, but we'll give you 20 extra days to pay it if you pay us, 50% penalty. Wow. And I guess they got some different categories of colors of trikes or stickers that you have to get. I don't know exactly how that works. For intra-city only, for inside the city. So if you're going to be running a trike in the city of Bogo, where we have land, you better get your permit renewed on February the 1st. Filipino group in Central Florida is advertising. There's a physical therapy group in Central Florida that's hitting up the Filipino community, letting them know that you can come see us without a doctor's appointment. Yes and no. I mean, a lot of times you can make a physical therapy appointment. A lot of times to get your insurance to cover it, you got to get prior approval and justification of why you're going to the doctor. So that's a little misleading to me. We got pictures from the Philippines about the Sinulog festivals there in Cebu, where we have land in Bogo. Is got some beautiful pictures. Beautiful dancers. Everybody's got their makeup on and their costumes, and let's see if they got pictures of any good food. We always like to see that. Pictures of a king, and yeah, they're all decked out nice, man. They spent some money on this. It's a Sinulog, if you didn't know, it's kind of like Mardi Gras. And the Philippine people in Cebu take it seriously, extremely proud of it. And you will see literally hundreds of thousands of people watching this, crowding the street like Mardi Gras. They're just not as drunk. They're just not as drunk during watching Sinulog as they are with Mardi Gras. They get drunk afterwards. They kind of go home and get drunk. So that's happening. That's great news. I asked an opinion of the day. Which do you prefer of your Filipino wife, if you have a Filipino wife? Do you like her how pretty she is, or do you like how her body is? And so that's interesting. I like to ask questions. There's a lot of different financial entities that you can use to send money, if you guys didn't know this. Real simply put, you got World Remit, PayPal, MoneyGram, Zoom, Wise, Western Union, and Remitly are the common ones. So it looks like Remitly, Western Union, and Wise are some of the most common. So there's a lot of different ways to send money around the world nowadays. If you want to fly first class to the Philippines, round trip sale is only $3,000 from $12,000. What airline is this? It doesn't say. It's through a third-party operation. It's usually very expensive to fly first class, business class. Apparently you can get a special for about $3,000 off of $12,000. Looks like a lot of people are advertising that they're rich. So, Friday, we got Filipino roofing company businesses, marketing their stuff on Facebook to Filipino groups. Our good friend, the Scotty B Show, has posted something about the basketball games because he's into that in the Philippines. The Philippines, if you didn't know, it has a lot of basketball. They enjoy basketball. They play it a lot. They play a lot of street basketball. They play basketball. One thing we're really interested in, because we like Southern Alabama, but Florida has a lot of great Filipino community in it. Big community there in Central Florida. And they got a lot of restaurants and stores, and so we get a lot of news from Central Florida. This one is Inlay's Kitchen, and OC is hiring, so they need help in the kitchen. I've been studying Dr. Ken Berry's book about what lies doctor told him, myths and things. And so I've been doing that, and I'm doing some videos on it. And I know, being from living in the Philippines and living in America, we don't eat, good. But it's kind of interesting that, the Philippine people are usually so skinny. Most Asians are so skinny. And the diet that he preaches and wants everybody to do, the carnivore diet, the ancestral diet, is what Asian countries eat. So that's one of the reasons they're all so skinny. We think it's because maybe they don't have as much food, but it's really not. It's because of what they eat. They eat. They don't eat cereal for breakfast. They eat rice and eggs and meat and vegetables. They don't eat donuts and bagels and high carb and high sugar things. Would you like to become a travel agent? My wife thought about that. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's see. News as we know it. News as we know it. Oh, if we only knew it. Life would be grand. Got a bunch of crappy ads from Timu. Uh, man, some good stuff. A lot of houses for sale in the Philippines for people. Beautiful houses. You know, Asian countries has beautiful homes. I think. I think the Asian style homes are pretty cool. I like the simplicity of them. I like the fact that they could take a flooding and keep going. You don't got to gut them like we do here in America. A lot of them are designed for outdoor living, which I really like because I like outdoor living. Well, there's some advertisements here from another third party about airline tickets to the Philippines where they run about $500 to $700. Now, we've made many trips to the Philippines and we've never gotten an airline ticket that cheap. But, you know, the internet doesn't lie, they don't trick you. We usually pay well over $1,000. But one simple tip that everybody, understands that if you want to travel to the Philippines, it's all about how much time do you want to stay in a plane or an airport. So if you're willing to spend 30 to 35 hours traveling to the Philippines, yeah, you can get a ticket, $1,000, $800-900, if you're really lucky. But if you don't want that many layovers and that long of layovers, it's going to take you quite a bit. And we personally don't like thousands of hours of layover. So we would rather pay a little bit more and get there in the 26 hours. Looks like we got some new condos going up in the Philippines, in Cebu, which I always think is really funny and interesting when you see new condos or condo complexes or complexes in the Philippines. Their architectural drawings are beautiful. I mean, it makes you go, wow, this is really nice. And, but I think it's only about 70% of reality. So whatever you have to understand, if you're looking at communities in the Philippines that are going to be developed, like on Mactan Island or other places, when they do these communities with parks and walkways and restaurants and stores and condos and beautiful buildings, it's great for single expats to live at, right? But you got to tamper down your enthusiasm by a good 30% because it's only going to be about 70% of what the pictures show you. Just keep that in mind. There we go, like that. Got a lot of people that are trying to sell vitamins or fake vitamins or whatever the hell those are. We don't care about those. We got our friends down in Florida who's growing those long, skinny green beans I don't know what they're called, but man, my wife really likes those long, skinny green beans. She'll be jealous when she sees that her friend sent her a picture of her favorite green beans and we can't get them around here. Yeah, we got groups all over the country reminding Filipinos that they got to do their taxes, whether they're an OFW and or a permanent resident, whatever it is. But, it's also marketing. So I think it looks like Scotty's trying to buy our Lynn's channel, which is a friend of ours, trying to buy some ice cream. But I do like modern homes design. I'm a big fan of it. We've thought about looking into buying a piece of land ourselves, like in Mobile, Alabama area, southern Alabama, and having a modern house built on it. We get a lot of information about homes from Cebu because we own land there, and modern homes and floor plans. And I gotta admit, there's something extremely appealing about what either you want to look at Mediterranean style and or what I call the Asian style, which is more of a modern, clean. I really like them. I like the fact that there's no sheetrock in them. That truly, if things go south, you turn the water hose on and you can scrub out the tiles and the walls, repaint if you need to, and it's just not a big deal. Now, I do think some modern touches would be nice. I wish a bigger bathroom because granted the Asians are little and I'm fat and old. So I do like a little bit more elbow space in the bathrooms usually. But if we had one built, we could custom market it. Now, what I'm big on is the outdoor living space is maybe partly why I'm partial to that. Because I like to hang out outside. I'm happy in my back porch, especially if it was nice and big, having a dirty kitchen or outdoor barbecue area, put a TV up, put some nice furniture. I can live outdoors, get a fan, so I don't need a lot of indoor space. My wife might, but but the more space you have, the bigger house you have, the dirtier your house gets, the harder it's to keep up. And we're torn between that decision. Do we go with a bigger house so that, it's like me, I can go and have my own little area that stays not messy, or do you have a smaller house? And so we debate that back and forth. We do. And I don't know, there's times that I go back and forth because I like having space myself, man cave. But then I think, well, you could always just build a little section or get a tiny home or a big shed and set it up to where you could put, like my office, a hobby station where I build models at and stuff like that. And I could hide most of my stuff there. So even though I don't think I'm the clutter problem. Look through here and see. What's going on with the Philippines and immigration lately. Let's check in on some of that. So the Philippines apparently president is going to be setting up a meeting to meet with President Trump, is what's been announced. So the president of the Philippines, Marcos Jr., will be, let's see, I'm trying to see if it says when. They're working on getting an appointment set up between the two presidents to discuss issues in the Philippines that the Philippine people are concerned about. Let's see, I got a little bit of a summary here. Marcos concerned over large Filipino communities in the United States. Now, look, my wife's Filipino, and I'm very pro-Filipino, pro-Asian, and pro-everybody. But if you're illegally including Filipinos, then I'm sorry, you need to go. You need to get your shit right and come back. So you got to do it right. Everybody else had to do it right, so you got to do it right. All right? So I know that will upset some Filipinos and some of our people, but that's just the way it is. So he's apparently worried about communities in the Philippines, which I don't think he should be. Philippine people and communities are liked here. I think they're well respected here. So I don't think it's a big issue. Will return U.S. missile systems if China ceases aggressive acts. So now this is a little, I don't know, I got to read about this a little bit. But what he's saying is, all right, if China behaves and calms down, we're going to give you back, the United States, the missile system that you loaned us. Well, I'm going to tell him this. My advice to this is don't do that. Because China is encouraging the Philippine people to do it. No. You give back those weapons that the United States gave you to protect your country, and we will not be as mean to you. I don't think you can trust China. But he announced on yesterday, he wants to talk about the policy making in terms of immigration. They don't have a date yet for the immigration meeting or for the meeting for the two presidents. There are more than they're estimated, and this is something that's important, everybody. There are an estimation of 300,000 undocumented Filipinos in the USA. Sorry, that's a lot. 300,000. I know the Filipino community in America that are illegal. They have their bad apples. You know, like I said, we're very pro-Filipino on this channel and in this house, of course. I think Asians make great immigrants to America. But I hate to say this to my Filipino friends, if you're illegally, I'm sorry, you need to go. Now, if you've been here long enough or your situation is overstayed visas and, you know, we have friends that are here on work visas. And yes, I know a couple that never went home after their work visa expired. I do know that. So apparently they're estimating about 300,000 are illegal or undocumented is what they call it, which isn't that the same thing? You've broken the law because you don't have permission to be here anymore. So I hate when they try to sweeten up the bad words. I don't like that. And we are saying that close to 2 million migrants from the Philippines live in the United States. To me, that's kind of low. I'm shocked how low that is. I would expect it that. So they also want to talk about the return of the Typhoon missile system to the United States if China ceased what they said was aggressive behavior and is claiming territory in the South China Sea. So the big fight between China and the Philippines is the Chinese government wants to claim the Philippine Sea. It's called the Philippine Sea. China calls it the South China Sea, even though, you know, it's kind of far away from them, but they claim it. And of course, China doesn't like anybody getting close to the United States government. There is a Chinese embassy in the Philippines, if you didn't know that. And because what we've been doing over the last couple of years is beefing up our military presence in the Philippines, retraining the Philippine soldiers. The Australian government has also been involved in this to help bolster Australia also and the islands of the Philippines. So I hope, my hope, and maybe it depends on what our government tells the president, hey, we will lay off your citizens in deportation if we keep a good partnership. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the negotiation. I don't know. But I think it's an important one for people to know and see. Another article talks about the Philippines' top diplomat in Washington is optimistic of White House meeting between the President Marcos and Donald Trump in the spring as the former seeks assurance in their alliance in the face of threats. So this article is talking about, has a little bit different slant, talking about how they really hope that they can continue to bolster the agreement and the partnerships because to defend against China. And this article's out of the Philippines too. The priority really for the president's trip is mostly to reaffirm most of the commitments that we have made in the past 8 years. Ambassador says during the interview, talking about the Mutual Defense Treaty is what they're referring to. So if they're really wanting to stay with the Mutual Defense Treaty, I'm not quite for sure why they would be interested in giving back the missile system. Unless they don't need it because there's, more of it or too much of it. I don't know. So Manila is seeking Washington's enduring support as it pushes back against what both sees as Beijing's increasingly aggressive behavior and the dispute over the Philippine Sea and or the South China Sea. While the treaty and allies have expanded military operation under Biden and Trump returned to the White House has stirred doubts. So they need to feel better about what Trump, and look, and they're also worried about Taiwan. Trump, I don't see where Trump would ever want to have less of agreement or a relationship with the Philippines. From a strategic standpoint, having a military presence in the Philippines is what we need and want. We also know that I think he recognizes that we get a lot of nurses from the Philippines, so they're an asset to the country. And I don't think the Philippine communities are on the radar as being bad or misbehaving. I don't think they have a reputation of going, oh my God, we don't like these communities in our neighborhood. So I never hear of them getting a lot of flack because a lot of Asian communities, what they do, and this is for a lot of different Asian groups, is they work, they live, and they be quiet. They don't raise a lot of hell, so to speak. They're quiet in the sense, now they're not quiet because they love to party and have a good time and sing, but they're quiet living. They will just buy houses or rent or do whatever they do, and you don't hear much from them, to be honest. I think that's why a lot of people don't really think about Asian communities too much. I don't know what's going on here, but apparently want somebody impeached. Not making a lot of stuff sense in that article. 23 hours ago, there's a news report out there about more Chinese spies in the Philippines. So 5 arrests on Chinese spies, which is funny because that was 2 days ago. But here your president wants to make relationships better with the Chinese. So you've caught spies from China in your country. So that's kind of weird. I don't know. Apparently people are wanting to impeach Sarah Duterte. I'm trying to see if I can figure out why they want to do it. Dateline Philippines is calling for that. But I'm not for sure what she did because I can't read that. A lot of good stuff going on, though. I mean, but the Philippines is just like every other country, if you don't know. Politics, finance, money, corruption, greed, just like here in the United States and everywhere else. It's no different. It's a fast-growing economy, I think, which is good, right? And they got the rich, the poor, and I will say, I don't feel like they have a very big middle class by any stretch. What is this? Let me again thank everybody for being here. This is interesting. Nearly 200 Afghan nationals have been flown to the United States after their special immigration visas were processed in the Philippines as part of an agreement between Manila and Washington, the U.S. Embassy in Manila said Sunday. The Afghans left the Philippines in several groups on commercial flights last week after completing their application process for resettlement in the United States. Okay. According to the embassy, an embassy statement expressed deep appreciation to the government of the Philippines for the cooperation and support of the U.S. efforts to assist these immigrants. The Afghans, including many children, arrived in the Philippines on January the 6th. The details of their numbers, location were kept secret by the United States and the Philippines because I guess they were in danger. So they were Afghanistan refugees who fled, the conflict there. So, all right, that's not a bad thing. The big news I'm seeing all over the Philippines last couple of days is they are definitely worried about our immigration policy. It looks like the Philippine consulate, or they're saying all of them here in the United States or just the ones in the Philippines. I don't know. Let me see. The Philippines General, Consulate General in San Francisco organized a learning forum to equip participants with essential knowledge, practical tools to better serve and protect the Filipino migrant community in the USA. So the consulates and the embassies in the Philippines apparently are, and I'm sure this is probably the same thing for every country's embassy here in the United States, they're probably working on trying to get immigration issues resolved with the ones that they can. 2, maybe they're trying to help their citizens get visas. If they don't, maybe they're slow in the process. I don't know. So basically they held a forum it looks like, where they brought in speakers who were immigration attorneys just to give the lay of the land of the immigration. And of course, an attorney who's for hire is going, and this is, you got to read between the lines. So these attorneys that came to speak, are the ones that they want the people to come and pay to help them with immigration issues. But that's good. I mean, knowledge is power. So we applaud them for seeking out knowledge. We got something here about how other countries are reacting to the immigration issues now, the policies, the changes. So let's see if this finds us anything interesting. So let's see. They're talking about how in a week he's gone heavy, has arrested more than 3,500 unauthorized immigrants. So why do they say that, unauthorized? They're illegal. Just quit sugarcoating the terms. I mean, if I was in your country illegally, you wouldn't call me unauthorized, you'd call me illegal. You'd want me moved. There's approximately 11 million illegal immigrants. They call them unauthorized immigrants. We just call them illegal aliens in the United States, which has a population of 341 million, according to estimates. So here's articles talking about, here's a look at several different countries and what their take upon this is. Mexico, they're not happy, is probably what the summary should be. There are more than 4 million illegals from Mexico in the U.S. Mexico has agreed to take the Mexicans deported by the U.S. back. They didn't like it, they didn't want to, but they did. El Salvador, there's approximately 750,000 illegals in the United States from El Salvador. And we are apparently working on deporting them and getting their country to take them back. Colombia, we had a dust up of Colombia. Colombia didn't want to take their people back. They didn't want a U.S. military plane landing in Colombia. So they threw a little bit of a fit, but that was quickly resolved. There's approximately 375,000 illegal from China. And a lot of those came from the northern border. It's one thing, if you look into this, they came through the northern borders. And the 375 is also Hong Kong and Taiwan. Because you got to remember, China still claims Hong Kong and Taiwan as their own. And look, and to strengthen everybody's point, China on Monday has come out and said, we're only going to take deportees from China, from mainland China. So if they're from Hong Kong, we're not taking them. If they're from Taiwan, we're not taking them. But they want to claim those two countries when it's financially beneficial to them. Or those two, I call them independent countries. Let's do that. India has 725,000. Joe's in the house. Good morning, Joe. How are you? Thank you for the thumbs up. We appreciate you. We're just reading the news for the Philippines this morning. We're going to go over what's going on in America with the Philippines. We're looking at some immigration stuff from a Filipino standpoint and just daily news. The two presidents are going to be meeting soon, so we're looking at that. We do have approximately 725,000 illegals from India. Apparently that's all good. They're Guatemala, 675. They're going back to Honduras, 525,000. Brazil, 230. What did I say earlier, guys? The Philippines is here. Let's talk about the Philippines a tiny bit. As of 2022, there's an estimated 130,000 unauthorized, is how they call it, I hate this, illegal immigrants from the Philippines and the U.S. Right as now, and this is something I kind of read earlier in a couple of articles, Joe, is that right now we haven't deported anybody to the Philippines. We haven't done it. There's been no planes, no efforts to arrest. Not even in collateral damage, apparently, has anybody been, any Philippines that are here illegally, been arrested and or detained as of this point. The two presidents are going to be talking about it, along with the defense strategy between America and the Philippines. And so this may become a negotiation, only 130,000. But of course, if they've committed criminals and they're violent criminals, they all have to go. So they're repeating. Here's one thing: is the Philippine government, the embassies and the embassies and the consulates in the United States from the Philippines directive are telling the Philippine citizens, look, if you're here illegally, you need to leave the country voluntarily and get out of there, because what you might be able to do is reprocess and come back to the Philippines legally. If you have to be arrested and deported, that makes your chances of ever getting a visa to come back to the country that you're booted out of harder. But if you can voluntarily pack your bags, catch a plane, and leave the country, well, you might be able to go back to the Philippines, apply for whatever visa you need, whether you got children here or family or whatever it is, and be able to come back to the Philippines. So that's something the Philippine consulate and embassies are telling the Philippine citizens. They're having budget issues in the Philippines, just like everywhere. So that's not a shock or surprise. They want to fight over the Philippines have been arresting illegals in the Philippines, and they caught some spies in the Philippines the other day from China. And people are beefing up their knowledge about immigrations. And it does say the Department of Labor, DOL, in the Philippines, there's another article, are willing to help any Philippine citizens that have been deported get a job. So if you're in America illegally as a Filipina or a Filipino and you get deported, DOL says we're ready to help you come back to the Philippines and get resettled. It does look like the immigration policies have a little bit of an effect on the Philippine nurses. What this article is talking about, the United States remains in need of healthcare workers. So Filipinas are still wanted here as nurses, and other countries too. But if you come here as a nurse, you're a permanent resident immediately. So this article talks about how some of them are a little worried about our new immigration policy. And maybe that's just a little temporary fear or uneducated fear, because there is no fear. If you come here legally as a nurse, you're a permanent resident, you don't have any problems. So, but what apparently it looks like, we have told the Filipino, or there's people in the nursing field in America that says, look, for all of you Filipinas that want to come here as a nurse, we still need you and want you. So apparently our nursing field in America is reassuring them that you're fine coming here. We want you to come here. Here's how we do it. So they're still encouraging the nurses to come to America. And it looks like the nursing agencies or groups or the associations are trying to reassure that the Trump administration has always wanted good legal immigrants. And it says here that, the Trump administration would certainly recognize the hard work and good nature of Filipino nurses. So what it's telling the Philippine citizens who want to come here that may be a little scared is, look, the American government has no problem with you. We appreciate you. We want you here. So you're not going to have any problems coming here as a nurse. There's no issues. Nobody's going to haunt you. Nobody's going to do anything. The fact is the opposite. Even under Trump's strict policies, that you're still wanted here and needed in America. So please come to America. So there's a bunch of people trying to reassure citizens who want to come to America, as long as you do it legally, you're fine, and Americans appreciate you doing that. I think that's a good thing. So there has to be, I mean, I'm sure that's going on in other countries too, where people are having to reassure things. So nice. So that's what's going on a little bit this morning. I'm looking, there's been a lot going on down with the Filipino consulates in America in groups. So in New York, the Philippine Association that's out of New York, it's a good sized organization. They did a great big, what is this, fashion show? It's coming up on February the 7th. Location is St. John's Cathedral Church in New York City, Upper West Side. We celebrate the elegance, the empowerment, and the cultural pride in this prestigious event. It's kind of like, what is this? Get ready to meet the remarkable candidates for state director representing the essence of Filipino beauty and strength. Wow. So is this, I think this is kind of like, I'm kind of confused. What they're doing, kind of confused. It looks like they're electing beautiful women to represent their community. So an experience in collaboration with New York's Fashion Week. They're having this big event. Let's see, I gotta look the word up. I gotta Google the word, hang on. Means madam? Let me get back here. So they're going to be electing Madam Philippines. So it's a beauty contest, is what it is. So you can meet the beauty contest, right? You're voting for who's the most beautiful Filipino, and you can meet the state representatives who represent the New York Philippine community. All right, so that's cool. All right, trying to figure out, they got two things going on at once. Beauty pageant for Fashion Week, and they're going to have all of their representatives there. Notice to the public from the Los Angeles consulate, we're down there. February the 17th, 2025. They're observing Washington's holiday, birthday. So they're basically just closed that day. They're doing some free health checks. Where's this one at? Is this in Los Angeles too, at the Consulate General? It's a community outreach and collaboration of partners between the Philippine Consulate General in Los Angeles and the Philippines Nurses Association of Southern California. So they're getting together for like a free health clinic. That's really cool. Wow, that's really cool. You know, I think maybe that's something, that's cool. So the two are going to work together for anybody, the Philippine community and people that if they don't have health care, I guess, and or just want to do a health checkup, they're going to do a health fair as well. When I was teaching college, what we would just call a health fair. and for the Philippine community. I gotta click on this because I don't know what this is. You guys, maybe I want to do this. Let's see. So this says the Philippine Consulate General in Los Angeles is launches the 2025 very important Pinoy tour and VIP Next Generation tour. I don't know what that is. I want to find out because maybe Lorelei and I should go on it. We're YouTubers, aren't we famous? Wouldn't we be, or she, not me, wouldn't she be a very important? Los Angeles is not in our realm, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what this tour is. Tour on January the 22nd, 2025, before an audience composed mainly of travel industry professionals, members of the Philippine American community in Los Angeles. But I'm still got to figure out what they're doing. It's scheduled between July the 6th and July the 16th of 2025. They're going to bring participants to Manila before heading off to northern and southwestern Philippines, particularly Palawan, Manila, alongside the VIP. I'm trying to figure out what the purpose of this is. You know what I mean? Alongside the VIP tour, the Consulate General also launched the first VIP Next Generation tour, a parallel tour geared towards young adults and professionals. Same dates, so there's two big tours going on. We'll bring people to different places in the Philippines, but why? I don't know. What I'm trying to figure out is why. During the launch, provided more details about the project, representatives in the Philippines Bar and Tourism. I'm kind of confused. So I think they're kind of bringing Philippine important people that live in America back to the Philippines for a tour, which kind of seems weird. I don't understand the logic because why would you go to Mexico and get a bunch of Americans together and take them back for a tour in America? I don't understand I don't know if I'm missing something on that. I don't know if I'm missing something. I think I'm missing a punchline. I'm missing why? Why? Is it cheaper? Is it just for fun? They don't really say they're necessarily business leaders, or they're not leaders in the Philippine community. Back in the Philippines. So they're not important people from the Philippines who are living in the United States. I got to copy this web link because it's not opening. And I'm going to try to open up this web link because now I'm curious. Because, hey, maybe Lorelei and I can do this. Or is it just one of those big guided trips? I pulled up the website because now I'm really curious. Why we're doing this. Why are we packing up a bunch of Filipinos in America and going on a travel tour of the Philippines? I don't know. So it's in conjunction with the Department of Foreign Affairs. My Views, Your World. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. So I'm really confused about this one. So it says in cooperation with Tourism Promotions Board. So maybe it's a little bit more of a business thing going on for the Philippines. I'm just still confused why they're doing it. So what's going on, if you're catching up late with me, I'm reading the news and the events of the Philippines, what's going on. It's what I like to do. So I'm just going over some stuff. And I'm looking at how the general consulate in the Philippines, in Los Angeles, they're having this VIP tour for very important Filipinos or Pinoys to go to the Philippines. And I'm confused why they're having a travel tour for Philippine citizens or Filipinos here in America to go back to the Philippines for a tour and then come back. It's kind of like if you rounded up all the expats in Mexico or Panama and said, we're going to put a tour together for America. I'm just confused. So I'm digging into it deeper. I've got into the website because I'm trying to figure this out. Because, hey, maybe Lorelai and I want to go. I don't know. But I don't know because we're very important. I'm trying to see if there's cost. I don't know. So they're going a bunch of different places. They do want you to tell them how you're going to pay for everything, but let me see. Here, let me blow this up because I'm old. See if I can find the financial side of this about how much this tour is going to cost. And can anybody look? Could a husband go with their wife? You got to register by April the 1st. You only get a 50% refund. Used a $500 per person is due upon submission of your registration, so you got to pay $500 up front. They're going to go look at the bats, different adventures. So it's kind of like going on a cruise in the Philippines. Are you trying to lure back people back to the Philippines? Well, trying to lure expats there. I've been, I do every Friday. I try to do a little thing about the news and events in the Philippines. And I stumbled across how they got a program for Philippine citizens to go back to the Philippines on a tour. It's like a bus ride. It's like if you took a bus ride to the Grand Canyon and back from Las Vegas. It's kind of strange. Apparently, I understand that airfare is not covered in this. All right, so no airfare. You got to pay for your own airline ticket to get there. It's going to be 24. Maybe that's what I mean. The Philippine government. I don't know. Well, I think how I'm trying to read this, it's kind of like because I don't understand this. It's like they're trying to recruit Philippine citizens who live in America to come back as a tourist for the Philippines. So Philippine citizens living in America, they're trying to bring them back as tourists in the Philippines. Maybe they're assuming they have a lot of money, but don't that usually, I don't know. And maybe this works. I don't know, but it's kind of weird. I find it interesting. Maybe it works. I don't know. Now, I would think, hey, we're going to take a group of Philippine people in America who's here legally in America, and we're going to take a trip to Canada. We're going to take a trip to Aruba. Now, that kind of makes sense. But going back to the Philippines, I'm confused about. All right, so the land arrangement package is what they're calling it. For a single person, is $2,400 USD. For a double, it's $18, or twin sharing. Well, me and my wife wouldn't be able to do that one because we can't sleep on a twin bed. Triple sharing, which is only $1,700. That doesn't make sense. For 2 people, it's $18. For 3 people, it's $1,700. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. Additional child below 11 is $1,200. Okay. I just didn't understand it. They're truly just taking a trip to the Philippines. And it looks like anybody can go, so you don't got to be a Philippine citizen or a Filipino national or somebody born in the Philippines. It looks like a fat white guy could go. So maybe if it's your first time going to the Philippines, this wouldn't be a bad way to go, right? You hook up with the Filipino tour. It's kind of like on one of the cruises Lorelai and I was on, we met a large group, about 50 people from Korea that had flown over and taken this Aruba cruise from Miami on a cruise ship to go to Aruba and a bunch of other places that we went. And they were all together. So, yeah, I don't know. So that's interesting. All right, so that's good for them. That's in the news. There is if you guys don't know, Jollibee is coming to Orlando, Florida. Oh my God, Jollibee. As we, all we need as Americans is our passports, no visa to start with. I agree. And if you're, a Philippine citizen, if you're a Filipino who's an American citizen, that's all you need too. If you're a Filipino here and you're a dual citizen, you can go back in on any of the visas. Either visa it's just kind of weird, but that's okay. Maybe it's just a way to make, I don't know why they do it, but it's okay with me. All right, we got to share this with you. There's a food group out of Orlando, Florida, because there's a large Filipino group in Central Florida that I follow and keep up with. So we are coming to Orlando. Jollibee is coming to Orlando. We got to go to Dallas, Texas here soon to go to Jollibee. But there's a J&J Pinoy Food Treats. Let's get on to their thing. Out of Central Orlando, Florida. Joe says, all we need as Americans is our passport. No visa to start with. That's right. Now, all right, so here's what's going on. There's this is kind of weird too. But I don't know, it's kind of weird. Here's another little weird thing. So the Jollibee in Orlando, there's another company. Now, I agree their food looks fantastic, called J&J Pinoy Food Treats. They're taking orders for all these treats, and I'm going to try to get to their website here. If they got one, I'm trying to find their website. Traditional Filipino treats and breads, and they're going to take pre-orders so they can meet you all at Orlando and at the Jollibee in Orlando, Florida, which is kind of weird. So they're gonna make Pinoy food. You pre-order it. You go to Jollibee on the 8th in the parking lot, I guess, and you buy and pay and pick up your food that they make you. Kind of weird because a lot of times in America, restaurants would not be very happy. But then again, Jollibee is a Filipino restaurant, so maybe they're happy thinking we'll get some customers. I don't know what the partnership is. But McDonald's wouldn't like it if I pre-sold hamburgers or gourmet burgers and everybody met in the McDonald's parking lot and I gave out my hamburgers. So it's kind of weird, but I'm okay with that. Now, their food looks great. I'm trying to click on it. Is this their Facebook page? I don't know if they ship, because if they shipped food, if I could get them to ship it to my house, I would order some food from these people because their shit looks amazing. Let me see if I can give you some prices. Cassava cake, you can get a tube for $15, a small cake for $25, the large cake $28, $45. I'm not a big fan of cassava cake. I like the taste, but it's too sticky. Ubi and cassava cake, $40. So it's kind of like a red ribbon, is what it looks like. And it looks like they got American prices. Buco, size 9-inch around is $25. abs-cbn. I probably said that wrong. 50 pieces is 40 bucks. Pai Chi, 12 pieces. I don't know what that one is. Well, we got some different breads. I'm looking for empanadas because I'm an empanada freak, but I can't find good empanadas. They got puto, which I love. I can make my own puto, though. I make better puto than some Filipinos. All right. So they are in Vero Beach, Florida, on the Indian River. Nice. See, we would love to live in Central Florida. It's our favorite place in the world. And they got so many big, strong Filipino groups and restaurants and stores that we would love it there. Lorelei would be tickled to death, man. They got a lot of great looking, but they do pastries and things is what they do, and desserts. And they could probably ship, maybe some of the breads and rolls to us, but, or a cassava cake, because that would last, and, So if anybody needs that, that's what's going on in the Orlando, Florida area. You can pre-order stuff and pick it up there. All right, let's get back down there a little bit further. Here's another really cool thing in Central Florida. And what I say is we belong to a lot of groups about the Philippines all over the country because I like to follow them. I like to know what's going on. Texas has a large group. California has a large group. New York has a large group. But what I find is the one out of Central Florida is the busiest. So this one out of Central Florida, they're having a pop-up live event or pop-up event, food, boa, live music. They're having it at a, man, I wish I could pronounce the words correctly, but I can't because I'm horrible. They're having it at a tea bar in Apoca, Florida. Delicious food, live music. See, we would go to that. I mean, let's Google this. Let's look at this. What this is going on. Okay, they don't have much on their Facebook page, so we'll skip that. But there you go. You're having another Filipino party in Central Florida. Joe, you ought to pack up and go live in a 55-plus community down in Central Florida. You could easily afford it and, and just rent a place down in Florida. BOGO is where we have land, so we're keeping up with the news from BOGO City because we have to make a decision next year about what we're going to be. In 2026, we need to get back to the Philippines and make some decisions. So I've been doing a lot of research on the city where we have our land, and I want to keep up with what they're doing so that we're well informed. Once again, Central Florida and Tampa this time, they're having a Rat 3DG. They're having basically a concert. They're having a concert in Tampa, Florida, of Filipino music. Somebody named Gigi DeLena Concert. Never heard of them? It's at a Filipino Arts Center in the Philippines. So it looks like they have in Tampa Bay area, the population so big, probably because of the cruise ship industry and the hospitality industry. They have an event center designed for the Philippines or put together by the Filipino group there in Central Florida. So they got their own event center. They're so popular and big there. The Philippine Consulate General in Houston sent out a thing with one of those barcode thingies that you can access with your phone to see all the different services that they're doing in Houston, Texas, that they're providing. So that's great. You can just, like a menu on your phone and look it up, and you can see everything they're providing, the outreach programs that's coming up for the next year, stuff like that. So that's good. there was back about a week ago. So the Philippine consulate in Los Angeles during the wildfires going on, and now what they're doing is they put out a notice to the Philippine citizens who may have lost their documentation from the fires, if they lost their passports or their identification, any of that, that there's no appointment needed. They can walk in, and the consulate in Los Angeles and San Francisco will help them figure that out and get their documentation for them. So there's a big push for that. If anybody in California has lost and maybe it's also part immigration, but it says because of the wildfires. So if you lost it due to the wildfires, they will help you get your documents back so you're legal in America. So there's a big meeting in Houston, Texas, talking about workforce with Pinoys. Well, I think it's going to be covering like how do we get more Pinoys in the workforce? It looks like that. How do Pinoys start more businesses? Workforce solutions and using programs that will benefit business owners and small businesses. So it's an encouragement not only to work in America from a Filipino standpoint, but to help start your business. How to become a business person and in the Houston, Texas areas. I think that's great. Filipinos in Central Florida have dropped some things about the immigration. You know, they had to come out and say, look, we know a lot of you people are afraid that you're going to get deported if you're illegal. They want you, they've given your rights. When you're spoke to by immigration, it doesn't mean that you're going to get to stay here if you're an illegal. Just because you do this. If you're here and it says this, here's your rights. You have the right to remain silent, refuse to consent an immigration or to the police search yourself, your car at home. We know that. You have the right to speak to an attorney for answering the questions. Contact the Philippine consulate. Refuse to sign anything you don't understand, which is all great. And I think everybody needs to know those rights. What's missing here, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be handcuffed, taken away, and detained until they figure out whether you're legal or illegal. My recommendation, and this is from all the consulates, is this. If you are legal, present it fast, quick, and easy so that you can be checked, moved on, and not hassled. Because a big red flag is, I'm not going to show you my documentation. I don't got to prove that I'm legal. Well, yes, you actually do got to prove that you're legal. So, okay, well, fine. We'll just detain you, take you to detention center, fingerprint you, and figure this out. Now, we may get to you in a week or two. So I agree. Everybody needs to know their rights without question. I think the biggest thing, and this is something I talked about earlier in my live stream, was the Philippine government is encouraging Filipinos who may be here illegally to come back to the Philippines. They're saying, look, volunteer yourself to come back here, because then you might have the chance to reapply to come to America legally. But if you get deported and you've been deported, then it's documented that David's been deported from America. When David goes to apply for a new visa, it's going to show that I've been deported, which means I broke the law. I knew I broke the law, and I went ahead and went, oh, I don't care. So why would any government give me a visa to come back into their country if they've already kicked me out because I was bad? So what the Philippine government now is doing is coming out and telling everybody, look, you might want to come back home now while you can voluntarily do that and reset your standings, which is probably good advice. I don't know. I don't know if that's good advice or not. We talked a while back about how they are giving out cash assistance for Filipinos in the fire-laden areas. So, Let's see. Somebody's hiring Filipinos. Let's see this. Good morning from India. Thank you for being here. P-R-A, I can't pronounce, so Parva, thank you for being here. How are you from India? We're glad to have you in. We're kind of just doing the news for the morning. I really like Asian houses. We've been thinking about building an Asian house ourselves. Thank you for the thumbs up as you came in. If you're new to us, would you subscribe to my channel? Yeah. All right, now this is kind of a ripoff. Mama J's Jolly Jeep. I'm going to Google this and see what it is. It's open until 7:20 p.m. on January 28th in Tampa, Florida. What the hell is that? I'm going to see if I can Google this because I don't know what her business is. But is she trying to piggyback off of Jollibee? You know, with the word jolly in there, since jolly in the Philippines is so focused on Jollibee. It is a Philippine restaurant in Tampa. Let's see what they got going on. So they're a restaurant in Tampa. They are off of Gun Highway in Tampa, Florida. They do a connection with Uber Eats. I wonder if I could get a delivery to my house. All right, so let's look at the Filipino food a little bit. They have pork lumpia, $1 each, which is a little bit cheaper than we have here. I think they're $1.20 here. When I go to the restaurant here and get them, they're $1.20. Lumpia torg, 4 for $6. I don't know what that is. Oh, bean sprouts, the vegetable one, is a little bit cheaper. The dumplings are $6 for 6. Pinoy bento box, which is kind of funny, is $13. Chicken adobo is $12, served with jasmine rice. Pork blood stew, dinigon, is $12. Pork sisig is $12. Get rice and an egg, of course. Brisket Tagalog is $13. Let's see, a fish ball, $6 if you like fish balls. I didn't know fish had balls, but fish balls. Halo halos are $8. Now that's pretty pricey for halo halo because, you know, it only takes about $1 worth of ingredients. They got some boba teas and things. Photo gallery. Let's look to see what I think of their pictures. It looks like just a little mom and pop place, which is fine. They got a mango float for the Filipinas because they love that mango, that sugar that will kill you, you know, pre-diabetes. They do have a catering menu. Wow, a little pricey, but let's see, I can't see how many it serves. On their catering menu, it doesn't say how much it serves. So how many servings each dish is. All right, so we've learned about that. Get back over here. So that's what's happening. They're going to be open. We got a video the other day from our friend in Manila who's heading overseas to be an OFW. She's going back to work. She sent us a cool video of the traffic in the Philippines. It's Manila. There's a big job fair in Pensacola, Florida happening. There's some restaurants that need help advertising to the Filipino community. So that's always good. We get a lot of advertisements to travel to the Philippines. PTPA, what is this? Hiring Filipino staff. So currently, I'm trying to figure out what this is. So is this an agency? It says here, and I've never heard of this company. My company, which I don't, when you start off my company, that means you're a very small company. So you got to watch the wording and things. Maybe that's, not such of a good way to go, because if you start off and say my company instead of the company or our company, and or David's company, the company David Company is hiring and doing this. When you start off this, you got to wonder if this is not just a mom and pop company. But so they currently hire Filipino staff and commit to work morning shifts, night shifts, part-time, full-time. Reborn trolls in the house, good morning to you. This job must live in the USA only. So this is recruiting Filipinos that already live in the USA. If you're interested in applying more for the job, private message me. Note, they're looking for students, nannies, babysitters, child carers, nurses. I can also apply. It doesn't say what jobs. Those are the people, part-time job, I think. This is a group out of Texas, a little company for data entry. It looks like they're looking for data entry people. So, all right. Reborn Troll, good morning to you. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well today, my friend. More on that. Land in Alabama for sale. The North Texas Filipino community is, my God, they got some beautiful food coming out of there. So Les Guilt Sweets accepting orders for February events. Let's see if Les Sweets is a Filipino company. They're definitely advertising to the Filipino community in Texas. So let me see if I can find their menu and stuff. I wonder if they can ship it. Where are they out? Because we're going to be in North Texas soon. I wonder if I could pre-order some things and bring it back to Arkansas when we come. They got all the good stuff. Pretty looking food. Now, it's advertising pictures, so you got to take it with, I'm trying to see, I'm on their page, but I'm trying to see if I can find they don't have a website. They don't have a menu. They don't have any pricing. So I don't like it when a business advertises, but you can't get any definitive information from the business. It's kind of like, then why are you doing this? So you want me just to call you and to talk to you and find out what's going on? But I don't like that. If you're going to advertise your business, then put some data with it. Give us some information, useful information. Wow. Somebody's selling meat in Alabama like crazy. There's a big event going on what's going on in January the 24th. If you guys are around my part of the country, Eureka Springs, Arkansas is having a big festival. Wow. They're throwing a big party. I don't know why. It doesn't say why. They're just having a big ass party. We had some friends celebrating their 30th or 29th wedding anniversary the other day from the Philippines. One thing I'll tell people, and I've discussed this with others, a lot of people want to go to the Philippines, and I got friends that have done this, and they go ahead and take a long lease. So, they've never lived in the Philippines, they've just visited. So here's a problem you run into where you can lose money. What I encourage you to do if you go to the Philippines, even with your wife or whatever, you go there, you do a short lease, 6 months max, because they will want you as a foreigner to sign a 1 year lease, a 2 year lease. Don't ever do that because you're going to want to move. You're going to probably find out in 6 months you don't like your area or that you're excited and you want to go to a different area. And I see this all the time on the expat forums where they're going, we have to break our lease. What can we do? Well, nothing. You signed the lease. So don't do a long-term lease when you go to the Philippines until you're ready to permanently not ever move again. You have no more desire to go anywhere else. Don't do a long-term lease. Do a short-term lease. So many guys get burned and lose thousands of dollars because they break the lease. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can buy, apparently airline tickets on the Philippines is on sale right now. I don't know what this is. This is out of Texas, out of Houston for the Pinoys. I don't know what they're trying to say. It's too jumbled. Filipino communities are reminding everybody that it's happy Chinese New Year. Gotta love Chinese food. I like Japanese food better, but still gotta do it. I had another one. I saw that I wanted to share. Let me see if I can find it again. So this is a group called Filipinos in the USA. And they're a company called Vertical Staffing, and this looks like a legitimate company. We are hiring, they got a barcode where you can scan and everything. So this is a company, this is we are hiring Filipinos or Pinoys. We represent a diverse group of clients who can offer rewarding positions that you won't find advertised anywhere else. So this is a recruiting company, an agency company, a company that is looking for Pinoys around the country and in the Philippines. They're looking for registered nurses, practical nurses, certified nursing assistants. Now you can't come here as a certified nursing assistant. That's not a nurse. So that doesn't transfer. So what they're looking for that would be somebody who's already here. Physical therapists can come here. Physical therapists, no. Occupational therapists. So they're looking for people for the medical field. They're recruiting that. They're talking about they got 401k benefits, referral bonus, sign-in bonus, paid holidays, paid sick leave, paid vacation leave, all of the good stuff. So vertical staffing, it's like we got a lot of friends that are nurses. One is recruiting locally to find nurses to poach nurses to go work somewhere else. Another young man has married a Filipina of his dreams on here and got that notice. Congratulations to him. I mean, young, 35. So that's good. Very good. Happy for them. Is this from Pinoy Texas Group is advertising a kitchen called Tate's Kitchen and Grill. I'm trying to figure out where it is. I don't see a link to where I can figure out where to go this at. So they've dropped an advertisement for this restaurant. Dennis in the house. Good morning, Donnie. Friend of Jack, SS and Vincent. But the food looks okay, but I just don't know where they're at. Tate is his father, but they don't tell you where they're at. I don't know what part of Texas. Texas is a big ass state. And tongue-tied when Alexandra shows up. Well, she is a good-looking girl. If that's her photo, she's not a bad-looking young lady, Dennis. So, Alexandra shows up. So the funny thing is, she doesn't promote any of that. You know, she's a nice person. She doesn't try to promote any of that. I know Lorelai was working on our communication thing between her and you last night. So I don't know if you guys have got that figured out, Dennis, or not. But we appreciate you being here this morning, Dennis. We do indeed. Friday mornings, I'm trying to come on here once in a while on Friday mornings and just kind of talk about Filipino news and events, not only off of Facebook, but all these other groups we belong to and the consulates and everything that's kind of going on is kind of what I do on Friday mornings. So, announcements and things. So, we hope you're doing well today. Talking about, I had something else I wanted to discuss. I got to find it though. You can now buy a Tesla Cybertruck in the Philippines if you didn't know that, by the way. I got that notifications a while back. A Central Florida group, which is the largest group in the United States, I think. I mean, I don't know if they're the largest, but they're the most active. So what I tell people is this, like New York has a large Filipino community. San Francisco has one, but it's shrunk a lot in the last 25 years. Texas has two different groups, but Central Florida has a very active and busy Filipino community. It almost makes us jealous, or partly why we would enjoy to live there, because between Orlando and Tampa, there's a large community, a lot of stores, a lot of restaurants, a lot of festivals. So, but just to clarify, I get tongue tied about every day. I just do. There's people complaining, I see. I agree. I totally agree with you, Dennis. She's a very nice person. I don't think that's her picture either, if you want to know the truth. Something else I was going to tell you, Dennis. I mean, I absolutely don't. So I'm with you there. Don't believe it at all. That's why she never says anything about it. But she's a very nice person. She's a young person. I've talked to her enough to know that she's doing the best she can to make a decent life in a not a rich area of the world in America. That she's had issues with boyfriends, family, and stuff like that. I've given her a lot of advice. So I don't think that's her picture either. I don't. So, but I agree with you. Oh, something I noticed, Dennis, I told you that and I did this intentionally, Dennis, and I think you'll appreciate this. I talked about Jack messaging me on my live stream last night, right? Well, guess who's deleted all those messages? When I woke up this morning, the messages that he sent me have been deleted. So you know that he must have been watching last night and listening, because I know he's one of the trolls that comes to the backside of my channel and tries to troll me. But when I got up this morning and checked Messenger, his messages have been removed from my queue of messages. So because I sent him the message last night saying, look, the way you treated us is unacceptable. So I'm not going to respond to you. So all of his chain of messages have been deleted. I thought you'd find that interesting. But yet he doesn't watch my live streams. So that's kind of interesting, right? And I just wish he would get his shit together and quit being a bad drunk and have a better life. I wish everybody has a better life. I'm just not going to entertain people treating me like crap. I'm just not. Now, I may not be a good guy, and I may not be able to pronounce anything anymore, and I may be an idiot, and I may be a butthead, but, just the way it is. So, people were talking about the runway Manila. All you need to know before you go down there. I guess it's kind of like a toll road. So Well, that's okay. I don't even believe my own picture on the internet. So, but I had something else I wanted to say before I got off of here about the Philippines. It is funny. Here's something Dennis might appreciate. Is, people are giving Elon Musk a little bit of shit because he did the heart salute and did this, and the picture looks out like he's saluting Hitler. Well, one of our followers, Jake Thomas, sent me a thing showing Hillary Clinton doing the same thing, Taylor Swift doing the same thing. I don't know who that lady. Oh, that's Kamala Harris doing the same thing. A bunch of other politicians all doing the same, waving, but it looks like they're doing the High Hitler thing because they're waving, or they waved. They caught them in motion. So just kind of fun. Here it is. Here's the New York. Is this the one? We got a lot of the agencies hitting up the Filipinos for tax season, wanting the Filipinos to pay them. I don't know what that is. I don't open up the messages from Filipinas to Lorelai. She doesn't like that because then she thinks it's bad. Because then they think she read it and didn't respond. So we have a rule that I don't open up the Filipino messages because it doesn't look like Lorelai read them. Let's see. Well, I guess I don't know where that went. We talked about all kinds of things going on between the governments. Looks like they're on a cruise. So the Philippine government and the American government will be meeting soon to discuss immigration issues. This is part of what's going on. There's some new tour packages for the Philippines that I talked about earlier. And it was recruiting Filipinos to take a tour of the Philippines, which kind of confused me. All right, my friends. Hopefully, Dennis, you and Lorelai can get whatever figured out, or we can find a different alternative for something. But I don't know why we don't communicate very well from that perspective, Dennis. So, but I think it is absolutely time for me to wind this down. I've been on here a little bit longer than I'd planned. I like to just kind of do a recap of the news that I find on Friday mornings and talk about that a little bit and then move on. But we talked a lot about immigration and things like that today. So it took us a little bit longer. So we appreciate everybody being here. We appreciate all the thumbs up and the support. And we will see all of you guys probably later tonight. There's a good chance that we will do a live stream tonight, and Lorelai may do one when she gets home. So you guys just kind of stick around for that. So, but we appreciate everybody. Everybody take care, and we will see you soon.